There we go. Now you should be able to hear me. I forgot to actually toggle my microphone on my mixer. Marsupial will be here in a second. He is trying to get in. He tried to get in. He's still at his work, right, at his business. And he tried to get in, but Discord might be blocked there, so he's trying to hook up on his phone. Well, we'll see when he gets in here. There is a crazy dust storm going on outside right now. Hey, there he is. There he is. How you doing?
Good. I had to check my phone.
Yeah, yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah, it should be fine, I think. We'll see.
Well, if you can hear me, I guess it's okay.
I can at the moment, so. Yeah, but you know, the like PS3 era of games and the like legendary piss filter that everyone talks about. That's what it looks like outside.
That is.
Oh, it's like during like the PlayStation 3 era, everything looked like all yellow washed and brown and stuff like that, and people called it the piss filter. Yeah, that's what it looks like outside right now.
Yeah, here too. And
it's bad even all the way over there.
Yeah, the doors were blowing open, and yeah, I went outside for a minute, and it was like all reddish, yellowish. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like a yellowish orange haze outside.
Yeah,
I stood out there for a bit. It's actually not bad on the back porch because of the stone walls that fence it in actually block off a lot of the wind. So it's hazy back there, but there's not like you could stand there without dust flying in your eye. The street though, it is just like a chaos whirlwind of dirt everywhere.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
And if I stand next to a window, I can't hear the sirens because I'm sure there are plenty of car crashes and all kinds of things that are causing the police and fire department to be everywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah. Too bad, the emergency broadcast service didn't decide to tell me that there was a dust storm going on until like 15 to 30 minutes after the dust storm was already going on. They're like, yeah, there's a dust storm expected to hit you by 7:30. I'm like, weather service is already here.
Indeed. Yep. Yeah, I got the message. Yeah, like after 7:30. Yeah, that was weird.
But hey, welcome to Game Central Junction, everyone. We're here, we're alive, we're making it work out. So thank you for rolling on into the station. We are going to be talking about video games today, as we always do. So, per the norm, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. And we've got a lot of fun things to talk about. Go invite your friends, get more people in here, grow the audience. We'll have a lot of fun. And hey, if at any point in time you happen to really like the show, you can always just give a little tip at streamlabs.com/vomitorium live. Really helps us out, but it's not necessary, just appreciated. Anyhow, there's actually, there's a thing going on right now. I think it's called Gamescom. I actually forgot that it was going on this week until I started seeing all of the like announcements and trailers and stuff.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going on.
Lots of things are going on. I think probably the biggest thing that is catching everybody's attention. Well, there might be two big things that are catching a lot of people's attention for two different reasons, and we're going to talk about it. But there's actually gameplay available for Silksong, the addition to the Hollow Knight franchise that started out as like a DLC and is now a standalone game. And boy, are they getting ambitious about it because they have a lot of post-launch plans.
Oh. Okie doke.
Yep.
Well, I never played Hollow Knight, so.
Oh, it's fun. I don't know if you'd like it.
So they're
It's a
They're-
Metroidvania game, right? So you'd like that aspect,
Yeah.
but it's also like an intentionally mind-boggling, challenging game where they want you to die a lot to learn the mechanics to a fight.
Okay.
So
Well,
like, it's hit or
you're
miss
saying
whether
that-
you'd enjoy it or not.
They're taking DLC and turning it into a full game.
Well, so Silksong started out as DLC plans for Hollow Knight, but it's been in development for so long now
Yeah.
that it's kind of like how Tears of the Kingdom started out as DLC plans for Breath of the Wild. It just evolved into its own game. They've been putting so much into it, and they've got a lot of plans to keep putting into it after the game launches.
Sounds interesting. I've been hearing about it forever. I assumed it was already out and
No. No.
like, and yeah. Interesting. So what's the
Yep.
release date?
So it's going to be releasing on September 4th. So very, very soon.
Okay.
So it's basically one of those things that's been existing in a limbo for a long time, in like, you would call it like development hell or whatever, which makes sense. The studio is a very, very small studio. They're like indie. Hollow Knight was an indie game. And Fizz is calling it a 2D Souls-like. A lot of people refer to it as that. I really don't like calling these games 2D Souls-likes because all they are Metroidvania games. Every single 2D Souls-like game is just a Metroidvania game. There's like no reason to call it anything other than that. There's already a title for it because it's not like you're grounded like an actual Souls-like game, right? Where you're stuck on the ground and it's just like a side scroller. In some ways, Altered Beast is closer to a Souls-like than most of these, and it still has platforming. These games have a lot of the aerial combat and platforming that you expect from a Castlevania or Metroid game, that it is straight up just a Metroidvania game. I would say the same thing as like Salt and Sanctuary. What's that other one? I'm forgetting the name. It's like one word. Blasphemy. Or Blasphemous. Blasphemous. That was it. All of those, they're just Metroidvania games. They're difficult. They're focused more on the challenge, but they're still just Metroidvania games. But yeah, it's been in development help for a long time. The running meme is that any time a big presentation happens, whether it's like an E3, whether it's like a PlayStation showcase or something, the state of play, that it's like Silksong is put on their bingo cards, usually in the free space, right? It'll be like Silksong or free space because nobody actually expects us to be on there. They just drive up hype for no reason. Until the Switch 2 Direct, where there was actual gameplay footage for a few seconds of Silksong, and it was like, oh, wait, it's actually coming out, and we're here. We're just like a week or two away from it dropping. Yeah. I'm looking at it. It's got a... Where's the timeline? Looking for the timeline on here. Because Hollow Knight was followed up by 4 pieces of free DLC, which was already cool enough. And I think that was mostly because of like stretch goals and stuff during the initial Kickstarter. And I'm looking... Oh, God. I had it earlier, but I can't remember which paragraph that information was actually in. Yeah, it doesn't have anything specific. Just that you can expect more or less the same like quality and quantity of free add-ons that Hollow Knight had. That's pretty much most of what they were saying. Which is cool. I'm not super into it. I liked Hollow Knight. I thought Hollow Knight was a fun game. I don't know if I liked it enough for a sequel. which again, Silk Song was never planned to be a sequel anyway. It just kind of evolved into one. So I don't blame them. There's a lot of people who love it that much that they want a sequel, so I'm happy for them. Absolutely happy. I just don't know if I even liked Hollow Knight enough that I'd want to play it more than once a decade. But it was a good game. Like they bled their passion into it. The other big news is Bubsy Bobcat has been resurrected from the dead. Yeah. I don't know if I would say, canonically, he's actually fucked off and had a family this entire time. He's been a busy dad, and now he's back, even doing dad things or whatever. It's like his kids are in the picture. But there's actually an indie dev who is building this for Atari, which I think we've said a few times, this is actually the way to go, is to get like a small studio or indie dev to resurrect your products, because they'll actually put like the heart and passion into the game that it deserves, especially if they're a fan of the series. And it's called Bubsy 4D, which even the dev was saying that this would not happen if the clouds themselves had not been parted and blessed by the Atari CEO, being like, is this a nationally known IP? Do people actually want this?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I remember it and everything, but it's been so long since they've come out with a new game. I thought it was just a dead series.
I think everybody did. It's there's not many titles in the franchise, right? I think Bubsy 3D was actually the third Bubsy. It was either the second or the third, and I think it was the third, because I think the 3D was playing on the fact that it was in 3D and it was the third entry at the same time. But there's only a couple entries, and the last entry, Bubsy 3D, was awful. It was funny. It's fun to laugh at. But like, whoever thought it was a good idea to put tank controls in a platformer, right?
It was so awful that they're making fun of it now.
Yeah. I love it. You go into the menu, and Bubsy's like, yeah, here's the menu. You can go and change all kinds of options if you want. Please don't enable the tank controls unless you're into that or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did put tank controls in there, and the dev even said, basically because it's funny, like you can optionally turn on the bad tank controls just because it was a funny feature to add. And I think that's based, personally. Like, put in all the awful options as long as they're options and optional. They don't like actually interfere with the enjoyment of the game, especially if they could enhance somebody's enjoyment of the game. There's even a low poly outfit, like costume for Bubsy, that makes him look like the model back in Bubsy 3D. I love everything about this so far. I love the design. I like the aesthetic of the game. I think the characters look great. Dad Bubsy is a really cool design. He's got like a huge, great sense of humor. As Fizz was saying, he was a mascot with attitude. He seems, because he was always in the same place as Gex, sort of, but the way they're writing the humor now almost feels like he's also filling in the gap that Gex has left, where there's going to be like even more fourth wall breaking jokes than the original, because Bubsy had a few of those already. Yeah. But one of them is there's an outfit that it was censored in the title. I don't in the trailer. I don't know if it's going to be censored in the game, because I don't know if there's actually anything to censor. It was just funny. But it was called Hedgehog Mode, where he only has shoes and gloves on. But it's it's riffing every platformer you could think of. They're adding mechanics, double jump. They brought the gliding back, because that was always a staple of Bubsy, even going back to the 2D platformers. It's got this rolling that's very akin to like Sonic the Hedgehog, but he can bounce around like a ball in it. It's got the schmovement, as a fighting game player might say. It's got the schmovement. And you could either casually play the level like a normal platformer, which the dev has been showing off on Twitter. I've been watching a lot of his little feature videos that he's been putting on. I even followed him because of this. Or you could speed run the levels, and I saw him like jump a 200-foot gap by mixing in his double jump, gliding, and rolling. And I was like, that's crazy. This game looks like it's going to be fun for all levels of capability, which I think is how you probably should make a game like that. Mechanics first, and let people enjoy it at their personal level.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Joshua says it's all fun and games until YouTuber deliberately takes it out of context and makes the game look bad. Man, I'm remembering like Nitro Rad's Bubsy 3D video. So like hopefully this is a redemption for the franchise. I'd love to see his Bubsy 4D video. Joshua also asked, does Bubsy deserve any heart and passion? Yes. You know what? Damn it, he does. He is historical to video game and platformers, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I think so.
when I saw this, I was like, is this going to be the actual like first good Bubsy Bobcat game? And I think it might be. And it's strange that I'm actually excited to play a Bubsy game.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's funny because the trailer shows it off and then shows like, you know, what the old ones were like.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, this looks so much better. Like they finally might have gotten it right.
Yeah. Like one of the 2D platformers, or the only one I've ever seen, looked like it could have been fun, but like the game was just so empty that the few movement mechanics it had were kind of pointless, and the gliding was so slow that you're like, why am I even playing this game? But this can be fast. It looks fun. It kind of looks like a collectathon, which kind of fits the last time we saw Bubsy anyway. I mean, I guess he kind of always sort of fell into a collectathon platformer in a way. And the humor, like I said, is great. Even like the dialogue between him and the kids. He even does like a kids these days joke. And everything. I like the style. The aesthetic is appealing. It's... This is the epitome of when people said, I want, what was it? Less expensive games with worse graphics by devs that get paid more. I think that was like the meme. I can't remember exactly how it goes. It was like a badly drawn Sonic saying it. This is it. This is what everybody's been memeing about and asking for in reality. And Atari's like, yes, we will pay for it. This looks like it was so, I don't want to say simple to make, because obviously a lot went into it, but compared to what we look at in a lot of modern games, and what a historically, I don't know what you would call Atari. Maybe you would say they were simply like a AA company, because they didn't really make anything that we would call a AAA game now. But for a company as big as Atari, you would expect them to put way too much money into a big team with a bunch of bloat. But this is like a small team working on it that have a lot of passion for the game they're making. The game visually looks like that too, but it looks so much fun that I think the ROI is going to be good on this game almost no matter how well it sells.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Joshua points, some people were also asking for remakes of bad games, and we're getting a continuation of something that people considered was historically bad. This is the pinnacle. This is the peak. This is what we've all been asking for. We have to support this thing. Especially because it looks good. If it was bad, I wouldn't say support it. But because it looks good.
I think so. I think it looks pretty decent. Did you say, is it an indie studio or?
Yeah, it's an indie dev that's working on it, like basically licensed from Atari.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name who's been posting everything, but if I open up Twitter real quick, I'll probably see it immediately. I've been seeing his stuff all day. Or I can go to my likes. Highly recommend following his account if you guys are interested in seeing things. He's been posting clips throughout the entire day. Fabraz Demon Tides is his name. At Fabraz, Fabrazz, who was one of the people working on Demon Tides. Or he's working on Demon Tides. He made Demon Turf. And is working on Bubsy 4D. So, you know.
Cool.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Fizz asks, can we get a remake of Mind Jack? Yeah, if you find somebody who wants to make it, and if the license holder wants to let them. That's what it really comes down to. And I've been saying for a long time, this has been the big problem. Gamers want all kinds of different games. But at these bigger studios, these devs don't want to make all kinds of games. There are definitely some that do. There, right? You'll find passionate devs who are like, oh yeah, that sounds like a fun idea. Let's go make it. But their bosses and a lot of the other people involved really just want to make story-driven games with hardly any mechanics that look beautiful to somebody, but usually they don't look beautiful to me. They don't want to make a toy. They want to make a movie. And you need devs that basically want to make a toy first. You can add whatever movie on top of your toy, but you need to make a toy first. And when I look at Bubsy, that's what I see. I'm like, this is a toy. I want to play with this toy. This will be a fun toy to play with.
Sounds good.
And maybe, just maybe, we get more of these. More of these lower budget games that, like if this does really well, that do really well, like how, oh my god, Expedition 33 also did really well.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start saying, because even as a narrative-driven game, that's still kind of a toy first. Like, they built an entire battle system before they built a story around it. If we get more of these low-budget games that have really big return on investments, maybe the industry will start shifting back into making toys first.
Be cool.
But those were the two really big stories. I guess you don't really have much to say about it, so we kind of went through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, sorry.
How are you not
I
excited
never played either
about
of
this?
these games. Well, I never played either of them, so I don't know what to...
Yeah, okay. I'm not really excited about Silk Song. I could say a lot more about it, but I'm not really excited about it. I'm really excited about Bubsy, though. Like, I'm sitting on the other side of the fence of most people that are looking at these Gamescom announcements and like, oh my god, Bubsy, and he actually looks good. What world are we living in? This isn't the timeline I was once in.
Yeah.
I had a copy of Bubsy 3D on the original PlayStation. And that game was really hard. And not because it was designed to be a challenging game. It was hard because it wasn't very functional. That's one of the things that we often forget about older games. There are games that were a proper challenge that had really skilled people working on it. And then there were games that were just hard because they didn't have skilled people working on it. And it's like the controls don't work the way they should, and you have to deal with it as a player.
Yeah, it's kind of just, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. I think on average, games were just harder in the past. You know, everybody talks about games like Dark Souls and stuff now and how they're hard. It's like, well, okay, Souls games aren't actually that hard. Anybody can beat them. It's trial and error, but like anyone can beat them. I can name games where like the actual hard difficulty of them you actually have to have a certain reaction time to be able to beat it, or else you're just not going to, right? That's a hard game. It's not for everyone. Or like there's some games in the past that the mechanics are just so bullshit that even people are good at them have trouble beating them, right? The frickin' Lion King was a hard game. And that was a well-made game, too. That wasn't bullshit. That was just... It's like, yeah, we wanted to make a challenging game because we felt like gamers deserved an actual game. It's like that... I think Lion King is harder than Dark Souls 3, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, some of those old games... just impossible.
Yeah.
I think Ghosts and Goblins is harder.
Yeah, I think so, too. Or if you ever played some of the relaunches of Ghouls and Ghosts that have like the extra challenging difficulty, don't even bother.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even beat it on easy. It's like
yeah.
a nightmare.
Yeah. Takeshi's Challenge? Man, I don't even speak Japanese. I don't even want to start with that thing. But yeah, it's cool to see a game that looks functional because it's giving me a mix of like Mario Odyssey vibes, but it's also giving me a mix of like what a 3D Sonic platformer should look like, because I've yet to play a 3D Sonic that should play the way a 3D Sonic should play. Yeah. Almost all of them get something wrong about it. I think that was one of the big issues with Frontier, is it got a lot of things wrong about it. But this looks very similar to like if you actually turned Green Hill Zone or something into a 3D map and you could run around and do stuff in it. And it's like, man, why does Bubsy look more like a Sonic game than a Sonic game?
Question.
Yeah. Joshua says back then, or back when every game was arcade-inspired difficulty. Not every game, but a lot of them. Yeah, where it's just like, we don't have save slots, even after batteries were put in. Like, what's the point in saving in a lot of these games, you know? And they basically just made you go through, but a lot of them didn't even have, like, an insert quarter where you could just hit start to play again. Like, you just had to start over. It's like, what's the point of having arcade-level difficulty if I can't just, like, hit to continue? You want me to start all the way at the beginning? Some of them have ways that you can, like, even the original Mario Brothers, you could start from the last level that you were at after a game over, which I didn't learn until way later because we had misplaced the instruction manual for the original Mario Brothers. So where it told you that you could do that was not in my field of view at all. And my dad didn't even know. It's like, you've been playing this game for longer than I've been alive. My dad and his brothers and their friends, especially for Mario 3, used to call the Nintendo Hint Hotline for help on levels. And none of them knew that you could continue. They were the ones that had the manuals growing up. I'm like, how did I have to figure this out?
I don't know.
But a lot of games, they just did not have a way of continuing. It's like, what? Come on, if you're going to have arcade difficulty, even if it's like a credit system I have to store up from playing, which you can't do if there's no save in the game at all, obviously. But if you're going to have arcade difficulty, at least give me false credits I can put in. At least just like make me hit the starter select button after I die, and it restarts me from the beginning of the level or something with lives again. Because that's what an arcade would do.
Yeah. Indeed.
So there is another big thing. There's some heat going around because of a crossover, a collab that's happening. I don't know if you saw or heard of this, but Infinity Nikki, the game I dropped because it's been horrible to its players, is doing a collab with Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Yeah. But only, I think
How does
only
that
one
work?
direction, right? Like Stardew Valley is coming to Infinity Nikki, not the other way around.
Okay.
I can't remember their names. You know the little sprites that live in the community center that you have to help out?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're showing up in Infinity Nikki, and they're going to be doing gardening and a bunch of other stuff in it. And it's probably actually going to be really good in-game. And I understand why Infinity Nikki wants to do this collab, because they want to be in that cozy gaming category, which I think is a horrible category. And Stardew Valley is in that category. So this helps cement them more that they're a cozy game. Even all of the advertisement around the promotion is cozy gamer, cozy gamer, cozy gamer. And the person getting heat for this, Junimos, yes. The person getting heat for this is Eric Barone, the concerned ape, because Infinity Nikki does not have a very good reputation right now. And so he had to come out and make a statement.
Everything?
Yeah, well, all kinds of stuff, right? So not only did they retcon basically all of 1.0 through 1.3 or whatever, which is what got me to leave, is like, obviously they don't respect my time. I enjoyed the beginning. Those first few patches were such a good game that I do not regret any of the time I spent in it. But
yeah,
they don't respect their players. They added more outfit pieces to a full outfit so that they could basically increase the pity for getting a full outfit. They did a few other things just to try to get more money from people, even though they were making more than enough money already. They've just been very stingy, as Infold normally does. They've been like this with previous Nikki games too, and a lot of us are just like, well, maybe they're better this time. Maybe they learned. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
And they tried to focus everything on this broken multiplayer that didn't even work for at least a patch. I don't know if it's working now. That's nowhere near as fun as what the single player was before that. Like running around the multiplayer environment and collecting the stars. It's just not as good as the story-based driven collectathon that 1.0 was. So it's in a lot of heat. And that's been bouncing off onto Concerned Ape. And he even had to put out a statement about it, which I'm trying to see if I have the full statement in front of me. I had it on Twitter. But yeah, the article that I had talking about this for some reason doesn't actually have the full statement. So let me go back into my reposts and find it. Here we go. He said, there have been a few collaborations between Stardew Valley and other games over the years. This is actually the first one I've ever heard about, by the way.
Yeah.
To be clear, I never receive any money from these collabs. I've only done them because I was a fan of the other games or because I genuinely thought the players would like it. Right? Basically to kind of not just cover his own tail, because I'm sure he didn't even know about the heat between Infold and the players regarding this game. But just to be clear about it, he does not receive money for any collab the Stardew Valley has ever done. Nor does he want to. He thinks he makes more than enough money off of Stardew Valley as it is.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. Well, that's a shame that people are presumably being mean to him or whatever. They just call him a sellout or something.
Balatro was one of the other games they had a crossover with. Okay. Every collaboration has been one-sided except for Terraria, where they both had something going on, and he's like, it's because he personally loved Terraria, so they each had a half of that collaboration. I didn't even notice that they had a collab with Terraria.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, and
I
Joshua
feel
actually
like
brings
I
up
knew-
something else we're going to talk about in a little bit, but you can say what you're going to say first.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I knew that they were. I seem to remember something about Terraria a while back.
Yeah. I think the problem is the last time I played both of those games until very recently was before the collab, about the same time, and I just kind of pushed those games to the side for a long time, so I wasn't paying attention to almost anything involving them.
Mm-hmm. What were you gonna say there?
Yeah, well, I mean, unless you have more to say on this subject.
Not really, but I mean, kind of makes me want to try out Infinity Nikki and see.
I
like now.
wouldn't recommend it, but
It was fun when it started.
it was great when it started. I love the game.
Mm.
It was fighting for Echoes of Wisdom for my game of the year that year. And I think it was still fair to say that even retroactively because it hadn't gotten bad until after that year. And so like it was still good during that time. Yeah, it was like it's just rough. Same people that make Love in Deep Space, whose rates are awful too. These games prey on the fact that women are far more likely to impulse buy than men. I mean, both do it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But like they know that women are very likely to impulse buy, so these games are just completely catered to getting women to impulse buy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep. It's like, am I curious? Do I want to re-download it just to see how it is? Probably not.
No.
Like when after I was done with it, because you hadn't been playing it either, I actually went and I just deleted it from the PlayStation to save room. I'm like, yeah, no, I just need to get this game out of my face. Yeah, it's not on there.
Oh,
I mean, it's a free-to-play game. You can re-download it anytime you want.
I have it on my phone anyway. Still haven't played for in a while.
But I just figures like if nobody's playing it, there's no point in having that massive game taking up space on the system.
Yeah, I suppose.
Almost feel like doing that with Wuthering Waves. Haven't decided yet. But anyway, there's another collab that was announced that Joshua brings up. He said, at first I thought the Resident Evil and Nikkei collab was with Infinity Nikki. He's never heard of Nikkei. Well, I have talked about it on the show before, but maybe you weren't around when I have. But yes, they did just announce that Nikkei, Goddess of Victory, will be having a collab with Resident Evil, specifically with Jill Valentine. Is going to be a playable character for it. And we all love Jill Valentine, so that'll be great.
Yeah.
Hopefully she doesn't become a Jill sandwich in the game.
But,
This one was announced at the Future Game Show because here at Gamescom. I say here, we're not there, but that's the event that's going on right now. Most of Gamescom is digital these days. There are people there in person, but most of the experience is digital. And yeah, it looks pretty good. They've had several different collabs in the past. Evangelion has been one of them. We've also had Nier Automata has been another one. I'll say Stellar Blade, but I really don't want to count it because that's an in-house collab from the same company. And that was always going to happen. It was just more of a time of like, when was it going to happen? And it was whenever it wasn't locked to PlayStation anymore, so they could do it both ways. But typically the way things go, because this is a shooting gallery cover fire game, is the best way I can describe the play style of Nikkei, which 90% of the content plays itself as long as your characters are built. There is more challenging content where you do need to like switch things around and focus the fire yourself, but a lot of people kind of just ignore that content. it's pretty much open for any collab that involves guns. So Evangelion was a little weird, I guess, other than the fact that I'm pretty sure Evangelion was an inspiration for some of the bosses, which are kind of like mecha that house one of the, what are they called? Nihilists? The corrupted Nikkei inside of it. So it's very similar. So that kind of makes sense, even though the characters are running around with guns instead of being inside the Evas. But the other ones like Nier and Stellar Blade or whatever, they make sense. If a character's got a gun, it fits in Nikkei. So what game is known for having ridiculous guns? Well, I wouldn't say Resident Evil is completely ridiculous, but they do have guns that you wouldn't even expect a normal soldier to have, right? Like, how is this person walking around with just a briefcase holding a bazooka? I don't know.
No.
But they've got it.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's
I think
cool,
Jill
yeah.
fits in just fine, especially if they have us shooting zombies during that time. I bet for the collab, we're probably going to... It's Jill, who never fought any of these things, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she had a mission in 5 where you get to play as her, but... Or 2 missions in 5, actually, where you get to play as her. But she never fought the Indesu. But it'll either be like the Indesu or the El Gigante, which is like this giant zombie thing that's kind of like made by piecing other ones together. Don't ask me how they can make a 20-foot tall giant by piecing things together, right? It's like somehow making a 7-foot tall monster by Dr. Frankenstein but it's like, where did you get the parts for a 7-foot tall monster, right? That's pretty much what like El Gigante and the Indesu are. I'm sure that will probably be the raid boss during that time, just because it fits the Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Or some other giant thing. They've had tons of giant monster fights throughout it. One of my favorite giant monster fights is in Resident Evil 5. The best character in the game, Irvine, who is a doctor who's helping them work on the parasite, gets caught and he injects himself and turns into a river monster, and you're on a boat fighting him. It's great. I love it. They could do stuff like that. There's all kinds of options for mixing the two franchises together.
Yep.
Do we have a date? They put the trailer up, but I'm trying to see if we have a date for when this is happening. February 27th of next year, I think. Oh no, that's the next game that's coming out. So we don't actually have a date. It could be soon, like really soon. It could be anywhere between here and when the next game is coming out. I don't think it'll be after that. Like the Resident Evil movie that Kreger's making is September 18th. I don't think it's going to take that long to happen. It's probably going to be any time between now and February.
Good.
But yeah. Looks fun.
Cool. Well, do you want to know what I found out earlier this week?
What did you find out earlier this week?
Well, you know, I'm somewhat of a fan of Dragon Quest.
No, I never knew that.
Yeah. Well, that's news, you know, breaking news. So I have the Dragon Quest HD 2D remake on my Switch, and they announced a while back that the upgrade patch so that it looks better. I don't know what it adds exactly other than better graphics or whatever for the Switch 2.
That's probably what it adds.
Yeah, probably. For the Switch 2 is free download, which is really nice. I think it's free. Actually,
Yes, we were talking about just for 3.
Okay,
The HD 2D upgrade for Dragon Quest 3 or whatever to the Switch 2 is free.
Yeah.
But this also because it's like the only one they're doing. There will be no upgrade for the 1 and 2 combo. You have to just get that on the system you want it on.
You've stolen my thunder.
Oh, well, we talked about this already.
Did we?
Yes.
Okay. Well, something I just learned about, even though apparently I talked about it. It left my memory.
Yeah, no, we talked about this like a couple weeks ago. Because Octopath was also in the same boat.
Yeah. So I have bottom line is, if I want to get Dragon Quest 1 and 2, I don't want to buy it twice.
Yeah.
I have to get a Switch 2 by October 30th or whenever it's coming out. So, yeah. I think you just make these things up where you're like, oh, we talked about that.
No, we
didn't.
didn't. It was back when the Octopath 0 announcement happened. That this was also there.
Fine. Fine.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I didn't retain that information.
That's okay. I don't retain, like, definitely over half the information we talk about on the show I retain, but there's definitely somewhere between like a quarter and a third that I lose, you know.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah,
that was
it's
my only story for the week. So
I get a little upset about this. I could get at least the physical copy and not giving you the upgrade because that I guess that takes extra work on them or whatever. Yeah. If you own the game digitally on the eShop, when you download it, it should just download you whatever version of the game for the system you have. Like you shouldn't even have to have a
PlayStation.
Yeah, right. You shouldn't have to have a free upgrade for a Switch 2 game. Yeah, PlayStation should just be like, oh, you owned this on PS4, but there's a PS5 version, and you owned it digitally, so we're just downloading you the PS5 version. It's like that should just be how it works.
Well, is that the case? I mean, I know. See, I've never had a. Well, I don't know. I've never owned a PS4. I didn't know if. I mean, basically, when you get something digital on PS5, you can get the PS4 version, but does it go the other direction, or do you have to like pay for an upgrade?
I don't know. I'd have to check. Well, because like some of the games that I own that are PS4 are only PS4. Like there is no PS5 upgrade, so I don't even know if I've checked that before. But that should just be the way it works. If you own something and there's a new version of it on the system, they should just let you download that version. PC games have always worked this way for the most part, and that they don't have to, but it's kind of just a culture to do this, where a lot of companies, if they give an upgraded version to a game and it doesn't come with more stuff than you already own, like this is just an HD upgrade, they'll give it to you for free. You have no idea how many duplicates of games I have on Steam because there was a next-gen upgraded version of the game and they just gave it to me.
Yeah. Okay, so I was actually wrong. So yeah, on PlayStation, if you bought even the digital version of a PS4 game, you would have to. Some of them have a free upgrade that you can download, but some of them you had to pay for.
Yeah, Joshua even already said like sometimes they give it to you for free. So it's probably much like the PC where it's like a culture thing, where it's like we should give it to you, and that's up to the company, but everyone should be doing it. And so even if Nintendo doesn't do it from their end because they want to respect the company's decision, Square should just be doing that, where it's like, well, if you own the game, we should just give you the version that you downloaded it on. That should be the benefit of owning a game digitally instead of physically.
Or at least let you buy, I mean, even if it was, like a $5 or $10 upgrade, that's what's so really odd about this, is that there isn't an upgrade path.
No, I'm going to even say, for if you get it strictly digitally, there shouldn't even be an upgrade path because they're charging the same price for a digital game as they are for a physical game anyway. They should just give it to you.
Yeah. Well, regardless, it's like... I don't... Like, I should be able to buy the Switch 1 version and upgrade it, whether it's free or paid. I don't care.
Yeah, if you're gonna... Like, I know these are cheaper, right? But if you're gonna charge me $70 or $80 for a digital game, you shouldn't even like require me to upgrade, right? It's like, oh, okay, you just own the concept of that digital game. Whatever system you download it on, we're just going to give you that version of it.
Yeah. Give me any way. Like, I don't understand. If you bought the game, you bought the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that there's different versions of the game for different platforms, but aren't they basically the same platform? I don't. It's weird.
Well, yeah. The problem is
Like,
the
it
system
seems
requirement
lazy.
differences, right? But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it does seem lazy. Because why can't you just put in different specs into the full version of the game and have it just like read what system it's on? Similar, like where there's a lot of games that if you install it onto your computer, right, it has recommended settings where it reads your computer's hardware. It's like, these are the settings you should be playing on. And it kind of puts it there by default unless you change it.
Mm.
Like, why can't they just do that?
I don't even care if there is I mean, I think we're talking about two different things, because I don't even care if there is a thing you have to download and install in order to upgrade it. I just want to be able to upgrade it. I will pay
I get
money
that. I
if
just
they will let
I
me
think
upgrade it.
they shouldn't even do that. Like I get it, because like you're just thinking of minimally what can I get with the least amount of fuss to get to where I want to go. I'm more talking about like ideally how it should be.
Yeah. I mean, especially because just do it the same way you just did Dragon Quest 3, which just came out like 6 months ago.
Yeah. I think one of the problems too, and I know how these companies work, I guarantee you, even though it looks like it's a pixel-based game, because none of it's pixel, right? They're all texture maps onto something, and they may have sprited it at size, and then like expanded. It's like, oh yeah, first we're gonna do like a ×4 ×8. It has to be some factor of 4, right? But like ×8 size before, so it's big enough that it won't be blurry when we map it onto the object it needs to be. But the problem is they still have textures that are based on the size of the game. So I guarantee you, knowing Square, even though like it's somewhat outsourced, that the games have two different texture packs to them, right? Like there's a normal HD, or I guess sub HD because of the Switch One, and there's like a true HD 4K texture pack for the other one. And the games probably have actual file size differences, which is why, like, I get what you're saying, just give me the upgrade pack. It'll be like, all that does is put the new textures into the game. But Square wouldn't do that. They would not even make a pack. What I think is, even with the Dragon Quest, I wouldn't be surprised if they basically put the full data for the upgraded version of the game on your system.
Yeah. Well, all I'm asking, I don't care, because it's gonna be. I'm just gonna buy the Switch 2 version, but at the same time, it's like, what if I don't have a Switch 2 then, but I get one in a year? I have to buy the game all over again.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm gonna, a PC version. There you go. You don't have to worry about it. Go play it on your Steam Deck. I actually don't even know if this game's gonna be on PC, is it? Do you know? I would assume they would. That's how Square's been doing a lot of things.
Well, yeah, the last one is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is not a Nintendo problem, by the way. We're not complaining about Nintendo. They're just the ones giving the options to it. This is 100% a Square Enix problem. The Square could make this easy if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could.
That's why I've it's more of a hate-hate relationship with them these days. But for a long time, I've had such a love-hate relationship with Square Enix. And Dragon Quest, the Enix side, has been better than the Square side for a long time. But outside of the main series, it's kind of just like Square doing Square now. Even like the remakes of the main series. It's like, yeah, but Hori barely oversees that. He's busy working on the next main entry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess we'll have to get a Switch 2 before October 30th.
I guess.
Although I'll probably the Dragon Quest 3 that I got the physical version, so I'm gonna presumably order the Switch 2 version. I just won't be able to play it to get the console. Oh well.
Well, here's the thing that I think I saw that you've also seen this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So are you familiar with the Tales of franchise, or some people just call it the Tales franchise?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like there's Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Fantasia, all of those. Well, there's a remaster of the game Tales of Xillia, which has kind of just been locked to the PlayStation 3 for a long time, and a lot of the issues with trying to port or emulate PlayStation 3 games specifically compared to other stuff. So it's cool that they're doing a remaster of it. Until you see that one really, really big notice about how they are adjusting aspects of the game for modern sensibilities in the remaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yes, I did see that.
No.
Indeed.
And it does make you question, like, when people say that, like, we're adjusting it for modern sensibilities. What was wrong with the previous one? You know, like in the first place, like what was actually ethically, morally wrong with the previous version?
I mean, clearly what was wrong, it's funny the way they worded it. Clearly what was wrong was ethics. Like what, a lack of ethics? I don't
Yeah.
No, just because of ethics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's such a slap in the face, basically, to say, yeah, the people who made this game originally,
are degenerates.
Scratch,
they're awful people.
Yeah, they're pieces of shit. And we hate everything they did, including this game, and that's why do we want to...
Why do I want to remake this awful game, right?
That's terrible.
So basically what they're saying by putting that on there is that the one of the best games in the franchise is still locked to the PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah. They're really fun RPGs, though. I don't know if you've ever played any of the Tales games.
I don't think well, a long time ago. It's been a while.
But they're fun RPGs. They're, I don't know how properly to describe them. They're definitely akin to turn-based RPGs. I think it's probably the best way I could put it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they've got fun little stories, fun characters.
Maybe I'll get the censored version to see what it's like. Maybe I'll get the original.
Yeah. It would be really hard to play the original, right? I mean, I've heard that there have been a lot of breakthroughs on emulating PS3. So maybe just play the original that way. But the problem is with, I think PS3 emulation is like, you basically have to get a new BIOS for every game you're playing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's not whether you can play the PS3, it's more of, can my PS3 emulator play this specific PS3 game? So, yeah, this might actually be the only way to play it outside of buying an old PlayStation 3. There you go. That was the last thing I had to talk about. I don't like it when they censor remasters. They need to fuck off and uncensor it. But I don't have any other stories.
But did you consider ethics? That's the question.
I did consider ethics, and I find their censorship unethical. Because they're censoring art.
Yeah. That they didn't make, so.
No.
Like, if you want to censor yourself, like you make a game and you decide, you know, yeah, no, I don't want, attractive characters or interesting gameplay. I want to make this game worse.
Well, that's the
Then
problem.
go ahead, make your own game worse.
Right. That's the problem when something is made by a big publisher. They're talking about like a game they didn't make. Sure, but technically Bandai Namco has always owned this game, like from the beginning. So they're the ones who actually have the. Apparently, yeah, they're still the one publishing it.
Who developed it originally?
I don't know what the team is. I believe, like the name of the team, I can't remember, but it is the. It was an in-house Bandai Namco team that makes the Tales series. Kind of like how they have different teams named after different things. Like there's like Team Soul, which does like the Soul Calibur games and everything like that. So they have a team for the Tales games, and then that's pretty much all they worked on.
Well, they can do what they want,
Yeah.
as long as it's legal. So, we're just gonna have to teach the old men this lesson again and have their game tank.
Yeah. Or
Well, it's
it
funny
may
'cause,
not. I
like-
mean, look at how well Persona 3 Reloaded does, right?
It is funny that there are still companies doing this shit. Like, have you not been paying attention? Like, that era is over. Stop.
Well, but the problem is, it's not actually over until it actually hurts their wallet, right? So as long as the remaster does well enough and didn't cost them too much money, it doesn't matter. Because we care, right? Normies don't on the average. Like, if there's a tipping point to where the changes actually ruin the enjoyment of the game, then it does bad. But a few censorships, a few like minor dialogue changes and everything, most normal people don't care. They just buy the game and play it.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about Cracker Barrel?
I did hear about Cracker Barrel.
Man, I would not be surprised if they just, what their stocks went down 20-25%. Went crazy like that.
I've only eaten at Cracker Barrel twice in my entire life.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I've eaten there so much I don't even know how many times. Many times.
And I think it was
Well, anyway.
the first time I ate at a Cracker Barrel too. Which you think is crazy. The fact that I lived in Texas for 30 years of my life. You'd think that I would go and eat at Cracker Barrel a lot. I knew a lot of people did. Never had the desire. I think the first time I ever went to a Cracker Barrel was basically on a date. Because that's where the other person wanted to go.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Well, that's the. Yeah, should have kept them. Should have held on to them. Held on to her. That's the keeper.
The food was
You want to
in.
go to Cracker Barrel? Did you have breakfast or like dinner?
No, it was like a date, so I went there for dinner.
Well, I think you can order breakfast at any times.
I'm sure. But why
Maybe
would I
that was
want
a
to go to
mistake.
Cracker Barrel for breakfast?
That's good stuff.
I guess, I liked the storefront. The country store. That part was cool. I think I would have returned to a Cracker Barrel just for the storefront, and then not even go in and dine.
Okay.
Yeah. But looking at it, especially from like a graphic designer perspective, that was like the dumbest decision any corporation could make. I get too that a lot of people go in. They want a more like a sleek, modernist look to things. I've never thought those were that appealing. But sometimes you can make this really, like maybe high contrast, 2 colors or monochromatic, sometimes like single color icon that really stands out. Very simple. This is not what they did here. Right? It's not like the Pepsi logo being fashioned over years. This is like, what is the blandest? I just got past my graphic design class logo we could possibly come up with.
Yeah, like they said, it's in the shape of a barrel or something like that.
It doesn't look like the shape of a barrel.
Yeah. They took off the barrel and yeah. And the cracker.
The like old man sitting there next to the barrel was actually the best part of the old logo. But even then, like the font was better. They chose like a really bad bland font and just threw it onto like a yellow shape.
Yeah, they just decided to just go full boring. Like so many, and have you seen the insides of the remodeled ones? Because they're just generic restaurant now.
Why would I want to go?
White walls with cheap, painting, prints from Walmart or whatever.
Like I said, the only reason I liked it in the first place was because of the country store and the aesthetic. Why would I want to go to that?
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. It's like all these restaurants keep shutting down, and they're all just these, generic American cuisine restaurant.
Yeah.
Like Cracker Barrel had a unique identity. Like you can't get Cracker Barrel anywhere else. So it's like you've got an advantage. And you're gonna replace it with generic beige, walled restaurant. I think that's just stupid.
Yeah.
And the new CEO is a middle-aged Karen who wears glasses.
Yeah. I think that's also one of the reasons why, like if you want it, they mostly did like comfort food, more or less, right? Which I guess I've never been too much. I like meatloaf. That's like one of the few comfort foods I actually like. But I'm not really into like chicken fried steak or like any of the stuff that a lot of other people like. Living in Texas, I had a lot of country stores I could go to. I didn't have to go to Cracker Barrel. I could have went to like a barbecue place where the whole sitting was like picnic tables and it had a country aesthetic to it. And you just go through the line and you load up. It's like, yes, I want to buy 1.5 pounds of brisket. And then I'm going to just sit at the table and eat my 1.5 pounds of brisket. And there could be all kinds of strangers that sit next to me too, because we're all sitting on large wooden picnic tables. It's like, and now even more so, if you don't have that lodge aesthetic to Cracker Barrel, it's going to make me want to go to a place like that even more. It's like you don't even have the appeal. It's like there's plenty of cool places that you can still go eat. Why do I want to go and eat at something that looks like a mall food court when I'm not actually at the mall? Like I could go to a mall if I want that setting. I hated the McCafe, the McDonald's coffee shop change. We talk about similar things. Hopefully that changes a little bit too, because you saw those McDonald Lands commercial, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you actually bring back some of the aesthetic to McDonald's Land, I would actually want to sit and eat inside a McDonald's again.
Good. Pretty good.
I think everybody really just needs to lean in to whatever their theme or aesthetic is. In-N-Out Burger is one of the few that does that. If you any In-N-Out Burger in the entire country, when you go inside of it, it looks like exactly what you think an In-N-Out Burger should look like, and it's got like just this old fast food diner look from like the 1950s or something, right? and they all wear their little hats. My brother wears his little hat, and they have like their white shirts on with their In-N-Out apron around, and they look like somebody who's working in a diner. It's like they know exactly what they're doing at In-N-Out Burger. Steak and Shake knows what they're doing too. Talk about the Cracker Barrel. One of the first notifications I saw from it was the Steak and Shake page on Twitter was posting about how awful of a change is and how Steak and Shake will never change their logo. And apparently a lot of people thought they already had, because their logo doesn't look like the signs that can vary a little bit from place to place at every Steak and Shake. But if you look at any old picture, the same logo that they have now is still the same logo that was on their like businesses when it started up. You can zoom in and see it like on the door and everything. I think people are just confusing the way a sign and the actual company's logo looks, right? Which sometimes they're the same for a company, but not always. But Steak and Shake's great. It also has that like Americana, kind of like 1950s, 1960s look to it when you go in. Like you look like you're stepping into an old diner, like walking into a Hard Rock Cafe or something like that. And I think that's also what foreigners want too, right? If you're a visitor coming here to America, you want something that feels like America. You want to walk into a place like, yes, this is what I've seen in movies. This is what an American dining establishment looks like. This is what I want.
Absolutely. I really don't understand. Like, they claim, I don't know how true this is, but they claim that the owners wanted to be able to, refurbish, redesign. And I'm like,
why?
And they wanted this plain, boring, just generic redesign. Like, okay, well, if they want that, they're dumb, and just tell them no.
Yeah. I want to say that it probably has something to do with what Fizchozo just put in the chat for McDonald's. McDonald's got rid of their unique aesthetic for that minimalist look because it's efficient. It's easier to maintain. Also, the chairs are uncomfortable, so you don't want to spend too much time in a McDonald's anymore, right?
Yeah.
The environment is actually, it's a little cozy, depending on where you are. Some McDonald's do have some comfortable chairs at them.
Well, I remember even back in the 80s, I mean, they were just hard plastic. They were always like that.
But, so, there was a different shape to them, though, right? The booths had almost like this ergonomic shape, despite being hard plastic. The modern ones don't. There are some, though, that are a bit built for you to spend more time in. Some of them even have, like, cushioned chairs that you can sit at to have, like, that cafe experience. But they don't want large groups staying there for a long period of time at all. It's also easier to maintain this stuff. Those old, like, statues, like the fry trees and everything, are actually really hard to keep polished, keep in shape. Like, you have to replace the whole thing if part of it gets damaged. So it's actually just, like, really, really efficient. Looking at the inside of a Cracker Barrel and how much wood there is that you'd have to wax, you have to polish. Wood's actually easy to replace, though, but it's a lot of effort. Right, like if you get a piece of wood this damaged, you could literally just like saw it off and like bolt in a new piece. It's not a problem, but it takes a lot more maintenance to keep up with this stuff. I bet the whole redesign is probably just because they want a restaurant that's easier to maintain.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, you tell them, screw you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but it's going to be a lot easier to maintain when you don't have any more customers.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't know. Somebody didn't understand that they had a very unique aesthetic. And even if you didn't like it, the customers do. So.
Money. Yeah. It's always money.
That's right. I don't know. I guess, yeah, I mean, it's not like their food was like spectacular or anything. So I would go in because basically mostly because of the decor.
Yeah.
But not anymore. You can find better breakfast at local places or lots of other places.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got this. I think it's called Black Bear Diner in Tempe. That's really really good. Good for breakfast.
You know, a place I miss. I miss Bennigan's.
What's that? Bennigan's.
Yeah, Bennigan's. You never been to Bennigan's?
I don't think I have.
There's an Irish themed eating establishment. It was like a family dining place. It was like a rival to, I think it might have been pre-Apple. I don't know how old Applebee's and stuff, but it was before Applebee's and TGI Fridays were everywhere. It was more of a rival to like Cheddar's and Chili's, you know, because they were further a little earlier. Actually, I don't even know if Cheddar's is around anymore, but Bennigan's, they had like a big shamrock at it, and they would give the kids like shamrock cookies and everything. I loved Bennigan's. And my dad, you know, coming from a very Irish family, always insisted on going to Bennigan's, and I was never going to complain about it. And then they like shut down.
That's a shame.
No.
I mean, I've been to Denny's. Does that count?
I've been to Denny's. Denny's still kind of feels like Denny's, for better or for worse. I mean, at least the last time I went to a Denny's.
Man, I got suckered into one of these door-to-door sales jobs during summer after college, or after a freshman year, and we would just we went as a group to this area where we sold door-to-door, and we'd have these morning psych up meetings, almost always in the Denny's parking lot after having breakfast at Denny's, and sort of the leader of our
grand slam.
The leader of the group it was almost like a morning prayer, except it was not religious at all and was usually extraordinarily profane. Just like the most disgusting stuff, just to make us laugh, get us in a good mood and everything. He would just say the most disgusting thing.
A Denny's parking lot is the perfect environment for that type of discussion.
I'm sure if you haven't been a door-to-door salesman, probably won't surprise you to learn that they all hate everyone. That they all hate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And so usually the morning pep talk was about all of the things that we would love to do to the people that slam the door on their face, especially the housewives. But anyway.
Yeah, it's that's the type of career. It's like one of the oldest versions of like playing the law of large numbers, where it's like, we're just gonna hit up everybody, and eventually we'll get one person who will make up for all the time that you got doors slammed in your face.
Yeah, it was basically I don't remember how many people we were supposed to talk to a day, but it was, I believe, 13 hours a day. I want to say 6 days a week. I don't think we had to work 7 days a week, but it was there were 6 times 13. We were expected to work. Basically around 80 hours a week, and it's like, you'll be successful if you do this for 80 hours a week for 3 months.
Yeah. Well, if you remember historically, right, even before that time, door-to-door salesmen would often drive between states, right? Because that's the only way they could really be successful. It's like, if I need to sell this vacuum cleaner, I have to hit up everybody in multiple towns, but I can't cross over other people's territory. Where's the next opening? Oh, this city in Arkansas? I guess I'm driving to Arkansas.
Wow. No, this was
Ray Kroc,
literally,
right?
Yeah. This was literally canvassing an area. So basically, we would go up one street and down the next and up the next and down the next. And then wherever we stopped, that's where we picked up the next day. So by the end of our territory, we had spoken with every single human being who lived there. And it was like, if they don't answer the door, come back later in the day or the next day or next week until you talk to someone. It was just like, I mean, it's kind of neat because I was like, I literally know everyone in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, I know the entire neighborhood. And then they'd start talking about you. You know, they're like, oh, yeah, I've heard about you. I knew you were coming.
Yeah. It gets down the grapevine.
Yep.
Can't remember who it was. There was actually somebody who came up to the door a few weeks ago, or like a couple weeks ago. And he claimed that he lives down the street. I've not paid attention to see if he still lives down the street or whatever. Like him and his wife just moved in. And they wanted to know what kind of flowers were those yellow ones in the front. Which I'm pretty sure they're just marigolds. Like I don't think you actually need to know, like ask somebody. But I could tell by his gestures, like, listen, my dad was a salesman. I know how salesmen talk. I know how you got to try to butter up the person. I didn't say this to him, but like in my head, I'm like, I know what he's trying to do. And then he started talking about like a business that he and his wife do, or like what they did. I was like, listen, we're just a renter. I don't have the ability to do that or whatever. But it's like, yeah, you know, you get that experience. I've always tried to be nice to anybody who comes to the door because, like, you know, I used to do food drives. I used to do all kinds of door-to-door stuff. I know how it is to be mean. It's like, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the mean person. You want to try to turn them down as gently as possible.
Yeah, when I learned how to do the sales thing, they didn't teach us to do anything but be straightforward.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't like, try to compliment them on this or that or whatever. It was just get right to business. Here's the sales pitch. This is what I'm selling. This is why you should buy it. You know, would you like to know more? And then, you know, if they would, you know, you get right. Try to get to the closing as quickly as possible. How many can I put you down for?
Yep.
Oh, who knows what kids are learning these days?
Oh, probably extortion.
Yeah. And how to run
that would be my
Cracker
bet.
Barrels.
Man, what kind of kid even knows what a Cracker Barrel is?
Yeah, really. That's funny. There's an article on Kotaku that says the new Cracker Barrel logo sucks, and so does the mess around it.
Oh, well, you know, one of the few times you can actually agree with Kotaku.
Yeah. Also, Final Fantasy XIV is getting review bombed and everything because they shut down a mod.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. There was something they were talking about very, very recently. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, how they want to get it onto the Switch too, right? We were very hopeful after talking to Nintendo. It was at Gamescom very recently. I guess this is technically news too, where we're very hopeful that Final Fantasy XIV will be playable on the Switch too very soon. And all the responses are just like, we don't care about that. When are you going to make your game better? Because it's been shitty for a while. Like, I don't think Dawn Trail's good. I've seen a lot of it. It's been enough that it made me not want to even try to renew my subscription or buy the expansion to play it. Throughout the entirety of it, I was already losing desire to play Final Fantasy XIV in post Endwalker, like in the post patch updates and everything. It's like, sure, go put it on more systems. Who's gonna play it? Your game is bleeding subscriptions. Yeah.
Well, apparently there's a very popular mod called Mare Synchronous.
Never heard of it.
It sounds, I'm trying to get what it does, but it sounds like it has something to do with role play, and like maybe it manages other mods or something. I don't know. I don't know how blown out of proportion this is, but everyone talking about it is saying like, okay, well, you know, that this was practically necessary mod to play the game. So them shutting it down.
I don't think there's any mod that's necessary to play that game. But okay.
I mean, like every site I've seen is like screaming about it.
Yeah, you know,
Like,
there's a lot of people
gonna...
who have that opinion. Like, there's like a damage tracker mod too that a lot of people's like, you can't do stuff without this mod. I played that game like, all the way through to Endwalker. I know people who still play it in Dawn Trail that play the game vanilla, and it plays perfectly fine.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really confusing because they don't tell you. Something tells me it's something degenerate.
Maybe.
Because
ERP is a really, really
big
big thing in Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, like I have not been able to figure out like what it does. I don't understand. Yeah, people are talking about nightclubs. People are talking about I don't know what it does.
This is also a big problem with Final Fantasy 14 in general. So I can understand from some people's perspectives, yes, the game might be unplayable without this, because a lot of people don't play the game for the game anymore. The game doesn't have enough content to keep most people interested, outside of raiders, and even then they have to wait a long time for raids, and the raids kind of suck. I've never been interested in raiding in that game, other than like, maybe I'll come back and do the raids later when you can unsync and do them at a higher level, but they're just not good enough to do with randos at level, you know?
Yeah.
But a lot of people play the game as like their social life, right? And the game, outside of housing, letting you customize things, isn't really built to be your social life. You know, this isn't like Ultima Online where you can actually have a job in the world of the game or something, right? This isn't a true MMO. This is a glorified multiplayer game that's a single player story focus, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people use it as their social multiplayer, like as their Second Life game. So they probably do need mods to do a lot of what they want to do in the game, even though that's not what the game is designed for.
Yeah, apparently what it was used for was to synchronize and share appearance modifications, such as cosmetic changes to their characters' gear, hairstyles, and other visual features.
Yeah, things that aren't naturally in the game.
Yeah, and apparently the mod didn't actually do those changes. You had to have other mods to make the changes, but this one facilitated sharing your changes with other players. So like people are
personally,
freaking out just because they have to come up with their own stuff.
Yeah, personally, I'm pro modding in games, but especially in live service, you kind of have to play ball with whoever's running the service, right? Yeah. And if the service isn't pro mods, which Final Fantasy 14 has never been pro mod, they've been against mod, anti mod since day one. The team does not like it. They look past, for the most part, client-side mods because they can't see it. As long as you're only affecting your game, nobody cares. And that's probably why they need this, right? Because it syncs up the fact that you're both doing client-side stuff. But like, they cannot stand modding. The game already has a pretty deep glamoring system where you can kind of get whatever outfit you want more or less, with only a few things that are limited to jobs. And it's like, it's not actually there to be your social haven. That's not what the game is designed to do. I get it. They haven't been giving a lot of content, but a lot of these people were still like RP only people, even when the game did have content. I knew people, like my buddy Stan, who pretty much only played the main story to unlock more outfits and items and stuff like that for RP. Like, they didn't care, really. It was just there because, like, they had to do it. To be able to go to the new housing area, to be able to get this new item for their house, to be able to get this new outfit, to be able to do this and that, to hang out with people here, you had to do it. It's like, okay, like, I get that's how you enjoy the game. You do you. But you can't complain when the game designer's like, this is not what we designed the game for, we're going to start doing these things against it. I wouldn't if I was the game designer. But you have to play ball when you're in somebody else's house.
Yeah, and honestly, now that I know what it does, I'm like,
no sympathy.
I don't know. Yeah, I have a lot less sympathy.
Yeah.
It's like, what does it do? Like, of course, they don't tell you because, it helps, the degenerate ERPers, like, spread their degeneracy faster.
Yeah, dude. And everybody, like, even the team, everybody knows about the ERP. They don't like that it happens in the game. Some people have been banned because of it, too, because, like, obviously, you can't really know the age of the person you are RPing with, right? And as long as it stays anonymous, at least you have deniability, but there's some stuff going on with erotic roleplay that nobody's cool with, right? Yeah. And they kind of just try to ignore that it's happening for the most part, right? Like, if something does come out, they do ban, they do. I've heard that, like, authorities get called. They're not just completely shoving it to the side. But in any stream, anytime somebody brings it up or whatever, they just try to pretend it doesn't happen because they don't like the fact that this is happening in their game at all. But they also know that they can't completely get rid of it, or else they lose, like, an entire third of their customer base.
Well, they got rid of this one.
Yeah.
Some kind of legal notice. Oh, well, I didn't play that game anyway.
It's kind of like nobody wants to become Second Life, you know? Like, if you're making a game and you weren't intentionally going out to make a game like Second Life, you don't want to become it. But a lot of times, if that's where people congregate, it just starts happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess
so, yeah. Anyway, I think it's probably a good spot to end the show on, since we were at the end. And we rambled for quite a bit. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you're following. Go share it out with some friends. Get more people in here. We'll have a good time. Love responding to the chat. And if you really enjoyed the show, whether you're watching now or in the future, you can always give a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitoriumlive. Really helps us out. And we will see you guys no later than Monday.
Yeah.